Hello there, and welcome to Sleepy Animal Fact. There's no need to do anything right now. No need to focus too hard. No need to remember every detail. Just let these words wash over you like a soft breeze passing through a quiet meadow. If your eyes are still open, you're welcome to close them whenever you feel ready. And if they're already closed, that's perfectly fine too. Just breathe slowly in and slowly out. Let your body settle. Let your shoulders drop, and let's begin. If these gentle journeys bring you peace, consider leaving a kind word, sharing this moment with another, or joining our growing flock of quiet dreamers. Tonight, we're going to explore one of nature's most magnificent creatures, the eagle, a bird that has captured the human imagination for thousands upon thousands of years. And we're going to start right at the very beginning with a look at just how many kinds of eagles share this planet with us. You see, there are over 60 species of eagles found across the world. 60. Isn't that something to think about? More than 60 different kinds of eagles, soaring through skies on nearly every continent. Now, most of these species, the majority of them, are found in 3 parts of the world: Africa, Asia, and Europe. These 3 vast continents are home to the greatest diversity of eagles on Earth. Some live in thick, tropical forests, where the air is warm and heavy with moisture. Others live on open savannas, where the grass stretches out beneath enormous skies. And still others make their homes along rocky coastlines or high up in snow-dusted mountain ranges. 60 species, each one uniquely adapted to its own corner of the world. Each one a quiet masterpiece of evolution, shaped by millions of years of wind and sky and survival. Now, scientists and ornithologists, those are the people who study birds, they've organized these many species of eagles into 4 main groups. For broad families, if you like. The first group is the sea eagles. These are the eagles that live near water, along coastlines, rivers, and lakes. And they are expert fishers, swooping down to pluck fish right from the surface of the water with their powerful talons. The second group is the snake eagles. And as their name gently suggests, these eagles specialize in hunting snakes and other reptiles. They're found mostly in warmer climates, where snakes are plentiful. The third group is the booted eagles. Now, these eagles get their charming name from the feathers that grow all the way down their legs, covering them like tiny boots. And the fourth group is the harpy eagles. These are the largest and most powerful forest-dwelling eagles, built for hunting among dense trees and thick canopies. Sea eagles, snake eagles, booted eagles, and harpy eagles. For families, each with its own story, each with its own way of living in this wide, beautiful world. And you, listening right now, you're doing wonderfully, just lying there, letting your breath come and go at its own pace. There's nowhere you need to be, nothing you need to do. You're simply here, resting, and learning a little something along the way. And that's a beautiful thing. Let's talk now about size, because eagles come in a truly remarkable range of sizes. And we'll start with the smallest. The smallest eagle in the world is the South Nicobar serpent eagle. This little eagle lives on a small island called Great Nicobar, which is part of a chain of islands in the eastern Indian Ocean between India and Southeast Asia. And when I say this eagle is small, I mean it. It weighs only about 1 pound. Just 1 pound. Imagine holding a block of butter in your hand. That's roughly the weight of this entire eagle. And from head to tail, it measures only about 17 inches long. That's not much bigger than a common pigeon. But don't let its size fool you. This little eagle is perfectly built for its environment. It hunts snakes and lizards in the dense tropical forests of its island home, gliding silently between the trees, quick and precise. It may be small, but it is every bit an eagle, every bit as fierce, and every bit as graceful as its larger relative. Now, let's move to the other end of the scale. Let's talk about one of the largest eagles in the world, the Philippine eagle. This extraordinary bird lives in the tropical rainforests of the Philippines, and it is simply enormous. Its wingspan, that's the distance from the tip of one wing to the tip of the other when both wings are fully stretched out, measures up to 79 inches. 79 inches. That's just over 6.5 feet, or about 201 centimeters. Picture that for a moment. If this eagle spread its wings wide, they would stretch from one end of a small room to the other, and it can weigh up to 14 pounds. This eagle is sometimes called the monkey-eating eagle because it has been known to hunt monkeys in the treetops of its forest home. It has a great shaggy crest of feathers on its head, giving it a wild, almost lion-like appearance. The Philippine eagle is considered one of the rarest and most powerful birds of prey in the entire world. And today, it is critically endangered, with conservation efforts working tirelessly to protect the few that remain. A truly awe-inspiring creature. You're doing so well right now, just lying still, breathing gently. Feel how your body is becoming a little heavier, a little more relaxed with each passing moment. Your mind doesn't need to hold on to anything too tightly. Just let these facts drift through your thoughts, like clouds passing slowly across a wide, open sky. You're safe, you're comfortable, and you're exactly where you need to be. Now, while the Philippine eagle is one of the largest eagles by wingspan, there's another eagle that holds the title of the heaviest eagle in the world, and that is the Steller's sea eagle. This magnificent bird can weigh up to 20 pounds. That's about 9 kilograms. 20 pounds of muscle, feather, and bone. It's a truly massive bird. The Steller's sea eagle lives in the far eastern reaches of Asia, primarily in Russia, along cold, rushing rivers and rugged coastlines. It feeds mainly on salmon and other large fish, and during the salmon spawning season, these eagles gather in impressive numbers along the riverbanks, waiting for their chance to plunge into the icy water and grab a meal. They have striking dark plumage, with bold white patches on their wings and shoulders, and a large, powerful, bright orange-yellow beak that looks almost too big for their head. They are, without question, one of the most visually dramatic birds on the planet. Imagine standing on the bank of a cold river in the Russian wilderness, mist rising from the water in the early morning light, and watching one of these great eagles swoop down from a bare tree, talons outstretched, to snatch a silver fish from the current. What a sight that would be! And what about the lifespan of these incredible birds? How long does an eagle live? Well, in the wild, most eagles live somewhere between 20 and 30 years. That's a long life for a bird. 20 to 30 years of riding thermals, of hunting, of raising chicks in enormous nests perched high above the world. The oldest wild eagle ever recorded lived to be 38 years old. 38 years. Imagine all the seasons that eagle must have seen, all the migrations, all the storms weathered, all the sunrises watched from some high rocky perch. 38 years of soaring. And here's something even more remarkable. In captivity, where eagles are protected from the dangers of the wild, where they receive regular food and medical care, eagles can live even longer. Much longer, in fact. Some captive eagles have been known to live 50, 60, even up to 70 years. 70 years. That's an entire human lifetime. It's extraordinary to think about a bird that could, in the right conditions, live as long as the person caring for it. You're still here, still listening, and that's wonderful. Feel your breath, slow and steady. Feel the weight of your body pressing gently into whatever surface is supporting you right now. You are held. You are supported. Let any remaining tension in your muscles just melt away. Let your jaw go slack. Let your hands go limp. Let your feet fall gently to the sides. You're doing beautifully. Now, eagles are not just remarkable animals in the biological sense. They have also held a deeply important place in human culture for as long as we have recorded history, and probably far, far longer than that. Eagles have come to symbolize power, strength, courage, and freedom. There's something about the way an eagle flies, high above the world, alone against the vast sky, that speaks to something deep within the human spirit. Because of this, eagles appear on the flags and emblems of many nations around the world. They are carved into stone, woven into tapestries, painted onto shields. When people wanted to represent the very highest ideals of their civilization, they often chose the eagle. It's a symbol that transcends borders and languages and centuries of history. And among all the eagles in the world, There is one species that has been chosen more often than any other to represent nations and peoples. That eagle is the golden eagle. The golden eagle is the most common national symbol found anywhere on the globe. It represents countries as diverse as Mexico, where it appears on the national flag, perched on a cactus with a snake in its beak, and Germany, where the eagle has been a symbol of power since the days of the Holy Roman Empire, and Scotland, where the golden eagle soars over misty highlands and has long been a symbol of the wild Scottish landscape. The golden eagle is a bird of open mountains and wide, windswept spaces. It is fast. It is strong. And it has a regal bearing that seems almost designed to inspire human admiration. No wonder so many cultures looked up, saw this bird riding the wind, and said, "Yes, that is what we aspire to be." You're so relaxed right now, and that's exactly as it should be. Let yourself sink a little deeper. Every fact you hear is like a soft step further along a quiet path, leading you gently toward rest. There's no destination you need to reach. The journey itself is enough. And finally, for this first gentle chapter of our journey, let's talk about the deep and sacred relationship between eagles and the indigenous peoples of North America. For many Native American tribes, eagle feathers are among the most sacred objects in existence. They have been used for centuries, for millennia, really, in important ceremonies, in prayer, in healing rituals, and as part of traditional regalia worn during dances and gatherings. Different feathers carry different meanings. A tail feather may signify one thing, a wing feather another. The way a feather is worn, or carried, or gifted, all of it has deep spiritual significance. In many traditions, the eagle is seen as a messenger between the human world and the spirit world, because it flies higher than any other bird, closer to the heavens, closer to the Creator. To receive an eagle feather is one of the highest honors a person can be given. Even today, eagle feathers are protected by law in the United States, and there are specific regulations ensuring that Native American peoples can continue to obtain and use them for their traditional and spiritual practices. It's a reminder that our relationship with eagles is not just one of scientific curiosity. It is also one of reverence, of gratitude, and of deep, enduring respect. And with that, you've made it through the first 10 facts of our journey together. Let's take a quiet moment to gently look back over what we've learned. We learned that there are over 60 species of eagles in the world, spread across Africa, Asia, and Europe, and that they belong to 4 main groups: sea eagles, snake eagles, booted eagles, and harpy eagles. We discovered that the smallest eagle is the South Nicobar serpent eagle, weighing just 1 pound, while the Philippine eagle stretches its wings to nearly 80 inches across, and the stellar sea eagle tips the scales at 20 pounds. We learned that eagles can live 20 to 30 years in the wild, and up to 70 years in captivity. And we explored the powerful role eagles play in human culture, as symbols of freedom and strength on national flags around the world, with the golden eagle being the most common national emblem of all. And finally, we touched on the sacred significance of eagle feathers in Native American traditions, a bond between humans and eagles that stretches back thousands of years. That's a lovely collection of things to carry with you as you drift a little closer to sleep. Don't worry about remembering all of it. Your mind will keep what it wants to keep and let the rest go, just like an eagle riding a warm current of air, effortlessly, peacefully. You can let go now too. Let your breathing continue at whatever pace feels natural. In and out, in and out, like the slow, steady rhythm of waves reaching a distant shore. In this next chapter of our journey, we're going to get a little closer to the eagle itself. We're going to explore the body of an eagle, its feathers, its bones, its eyes, its beak, its talons, all the extraordinary physical features that make this bird one of the most perfectly designed hunters in the entire natural world. So settle in, let your muscles go soft, and let's begin. Let's start with feathers, because when you look at an eagle, what you see more than anything else is feathers. And there are a lot of them. A bald eagle, that iconic bird with the white head and dark brown body that so many of us picture when we hear the word eagle. A bald eagle has nearly 7,000 feathers covering its body. 7,000. That's an almost unimaginable number. Think about that for a moment. 7,000 individual feathers, each one grown from its own tiny follicle in the skin, each one with its own shape, its own purpose, its own place in the grand architecture of the bird. Some are large flight feathers, long and stiff and strong, designed to catch the air and generate lift. Others are smaller contour feathers that give the eagle its sleek, streamlined shape. And beneath those are soft, fluffy down feathers, pressed close to the body, trapping warm air against the skin like a natural blanket. 7,000 feathers, working together in perfect harmony to keep the eagle warm, to keep it dry, and to keep it aloft in the sky. Why? And here's something truly wonderful about those feathers. Eagles molt, that is, they shed and replace their feathers, but they do it in a very careful, very deliberate way. They lose their feathers one at a time, not all at once, one at a time. And there's a very good reason for this. If an eagle lost too many feathers at once, it wouldn't be able to fly. And for an eagle, losing the ability to fly, even for a short time, could mean the difference between life and death. So the eagle's body has evolved this beautifully careful system. It drops one feather and begins growing a replacement. And only when that new feather is well on its way does the next old feather fall. It's a slow, continuous process happening all the time so that the eagle always maintains its ability to fly. There's something almost meditative about that, isn't there? Constant, quiet renewal. The eagle is never quite the same bird it was yesterday. Always growing, always replacing, always renewing itself, feather by feather. And you, right now, you're doing something similar. You're renewing yourself with every slow breath, with every moment of rest. Your body is quietly restoring itself. You don't have to think about it. It's just happening naturally, gently, the way it's meant to. You're doing so well. Just keep breathing. Just keep resting. Now, let's go beneath those 7,000 feathers and look at what lies underneath. The bones. An eagle's skeleton is a marvel of natural engineering. The bones of an eagle are hollow and incredibly lightweight. The entire skeleton of a large eagle, all of those bones put together, weighs only about half a pound. Half a pound. That's less than the weight of a cup of water. And yet these bones are not fragile. They are not weak. Inside each hollow bone, there is a network of tiny internal struts and supports, crisscrossing back and forth, like the trusses inside a bridge. These internal structures give the bones tremendous strength, while keeping them almost impossibly light. It's the same principle that engineers use when they design aircraft. In fact, you could say that eagles figured out the secrets of flight engineering millions of years before humans ever dreamed of building an airplane. Light enough to soar, strong enough to dive at incredible speeds and strike prey with tremendous force. It's a perfect balance, a quiet, elegant solution to the challenge of living in the sky. And speaking of remarkable physical abilities, did you know that eagles can turn their heads up to 210 degrees? 210 degrees. That's more than halfway around. Humans can only turn their heads about 160 degrees, maybe 170 on a good day. But an eagle can rotate its head so far, it can see almost directly behind itself, without moving its body at all. This is because eagles have 14 vertebrae in their necks. Those are the small bones that make up the neck, while humans only have 7. Those extra vertebrae give the eagle's neck extraordinary flexibility. And this matters, because an eagle's eyes are fixed in their sockets. Unlike our eyes, which can swivel and roll in many directions, an eagle's eyes barely move at all. So to look around, the eagle turns its entire head, and with that incredible range of motion, it can scan the world in nearly every direction. Sitting perfectly still on a high branch, quietly turning its head, taking in everything around it, watchful, patient, aware. You're sinking a little deeper now, aren't you? And that's a beautiful thing. Let that feeling of heaviness settle into your limbs. Let your thoughts slow down, like a river widening as it approaches a calm, still lake. There's no rush. There's nowhere to be. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. Right here, right now. Let's talk about the eagle's eyes, Because if there's one feature that truly sets eagles apart from almost every other creature on Earth, it's their vision. And it starts with something simple, something you might not expect. Eyelids. Eagles have two sets of eyelids. The first set is much like ours, an outer eyelid that closes over the eye when the eagle blinks or sleeps. But the second set is something special. It's called a nictitating membrane. That's a lovely word, isn't it? Nictitating. It comes from a Latin word meaning to wink. This nictitating membrane is a thin, translucent eyelid, almost like a clear film, that slides horizontally across the eye, from the inner corner to the outer edge. And it serves as a kind of protective shield. When an eagle is diving at high speed, or flying through rain or dust or debris, or tearing into prey with its beak, this transparent membrane slides across the eye to protect it, while still allowing the eagle to see. It's like having a built-in pair of safety goggles that you never have to take off and that never fog up. A small, elegant adaptation that keeps those precious, extraordinary eyes safe. And just how extraordinary are those eyes? Well, an eagle's eyesight is estimated to be 4 to 8 times sharper than a human's. 4 to 8 times. If you've ever had your eyes tested, you may have heard the term 20/20 vision. That's considered normal, healthy human eyesight. It means you can see clearly at 20 feet what a standard eye should see at 20 feet. An eagle has what scientists estimate to be 25 vision. 20/5. That means an eagle can see clearly at 20 feet. What a human would need to be only 5 feet away to see. In other words, an eagle perched on a branch high above a meadow can spot details on the ground below that would be completely invisible to you and me. Can see the twitch of a rabbit's ear in tall grass from hundreds of feet in the air. It can spot the flicker of a fish just beneath the surface of a lake from a distance that would leave us squinting and seeing nothing at all. The world, as an eagle sees it, is unimaginably sharp, unimaginably detailed. Every blade of grass, every ripple of water, every tiny movement, rendered in perfect, crystalline clarity. And right now, you don't need to see anything at all. Your eyes can rest. Let them be soft behind your closed lids. Let the muscles around your eyes relax. Your forehead smooth out, your brow unfurrow. You've been carrying so much focus and attention throughout your day, and now you can let it all go. Let the eagle do the seeing. You just rest. Now, among all the eagles in the world, there is one species whose eyesight is considered the very best, and that is the martial eagle. The martial eagle is a large, powerful bird found across sub-Saharan Africa. It soars high above the open savanna, riding thermals to great heights, and from up there, it can spot prey from an almost unbelievable distance, up to 3.7 miles away. 3.7 miles. That's about 6 kilometers. Think about how far that is. If you were standing on a road, and you looked down that road as far as you possibly could, You might be able to make out a building or a hill a mile or two away, but you certainly wouldn't be able to spot a rabbit or a small antelope at nearly 4 miles. The martial eagle can, from thousands of feet in the air, riding the wind in slow, lazy circles. This eagle can detect the slightest movement of a small animal on the ground, almost 4 miles beneath it. It's almost beyond comprehension. A living telescope soaring on silent wings. And what makes this incredible vision possible? Part of the answer lies in the eagle's pupils, the dark openings at the center of the eye that let light in. Eagles have exceptionally large pupils, larger proportionally than those of almost any other bird. And these large pupils serve a very specific optical purpose. They minimize something called light diffraction. Now, you don't need to worry about the technical details, but in simple terms, diffraction is what happens when light waves bend and scatter slightly as they pass through a small opening. The smaller the opening, the more the light bends, and the fuzzier the image becomes. By having very large pupils, the eagle allows light to enter the eye with minimal bending, minimal scattering. The result is an image that is extraordinarily sharp and clear. It's the same reason that large telescopes produce clearer images than small ones. More light, less distortion, better clarity. The eagle's eye is essentially a finely tuned optical instrument, perfected over millions of years of evolution. These large pupils effectively double the eagle's visual acuity compared to human eyes, allowing them to resolve fine details at distances that would leave our own vision hopelessly blurred. Every element of the eagle's eye, the large pupil, the dense concentration of light-sensing cells in the retina, the shape of the lens, all of it works together in quiet, seamless harmony to produce the sharpest vision in the animal kingdom. You're so peaceful right now. Can you feel it? That gentle heaviness in your body, that soft quietness in your mind. You're like a bird gliding on a warm current of air. No effort required, just floating, just being. And that is more than enough. That is everything. Now, let's move from the eagle's eyes down to its legs. And here's a detail that I find rather charming. Many species of eagles have feathers that extend all the way down their legs, right to their feet. And these long leg feathers give the eagle the appearance of wearing, well, feathery trousers, little pantaloons of soft, insulating plumage. It's a rather endearing image, isn't it? This fierce, powerful predator, wearing what looks like a pair of fluffy pants. But of course, these feathers serve a very practical purpose. They provide insulation against the cold. Many eagles live in mountainous regions or in northern climates where temperatures can plunge well below freezing. Those leg feathers trap a layer of warm air close to the skin, protecting the eagle's legs and feet from frostbite and heat loss. So while they may look a little funny to our eyes, those feathery trousers are actually a brilliant adaptation, keeping the eagle warm and comfortable, even in the harshest conditions. It's nature's way of taking care of its own. You're being taken care of right now too. By this moment, by this rest, your body knows how to do this, how to slow down, how to let go. Trust it. Trust the quiet. Trust the dark behind your eyelids. You're exactly where you need to be. Let's move now to the eagle's beak. That sharp, curved, powerful beak that is one of the eagle's most recognizable features. An eagle's beak is made of keratin, the same protein that makes up your fingernails and your hair, and it is shaped like a hook, curving downward to a sharp point. This shape is perfectly designed for one purpose: tearing flesh. Eagles don't chew their food the way we do. They don't have teeth. Instead, they use that hooked beak to rip their prey into small, manageable pieces, which they then swallow. The upper part of the beak, called the upper mandible, overlaps the lower part slightly, creating a kind of natural scissors effect. And here's something remarkable. If an eagle's beak becomes damaged, chipped or cracked or worn down, it can actually regrow over time. The keratin that makes up the beak is constantly growing, much like our fingernails. So a damaged beak, given enough time and proper nutrition, can repair itself. The eagle can heal. The eagle can renew. And among the many eagles we've discussed tonight, the golden eagle has a particularly impressive beak. It's chunky and strong and black in color, with a distinctive yellow or golden base where it meets the face. This beak is built for serious work. Golden eagles hunt animals with tough hides: rabbits, hares, marmots, sometimes even young deer. And that powerful black beak, with its bright yellow sear at the base, is the tool that allows the golden eagle to tear through tough skin and dense fur to reach the nourishing meat beneath. There's something almost noble about it. A tool perfectly matched to its task. No wasted effort. No unnecessary ornamentation. Just pure functional beauty. How lovely it is to just lie here and learn these things, to let your mind wander through the details of a world so different from your own. You're not trying to do anything. You're not trying to be anywhere. You're just here, breathing, listening, resting. And that quiet simplicity is one of the most peaceful things in the world. You're doing beautifully. And now, let's talk about what many people consider the eagle's most formidable weapon: its talons. An eagle's talons are its primary tools for catching and killing prey. They are long, they are curved, and they are incredibly sharp. But what's truly astonishing is the force behind them. An eagle's talons can exert a crushing force of up to 400 pounds per square inch. 400 pounds per square inch. To put that in perspective, the average human grip strength is somewhere around 20 to 30 pounds per square inch. So an eagle's grip is roughly 15 to 20 times stronger than yours. When an eagle strikes its prey, those talons close with a force that can crush bone, and they lock into place with a grip that is virtually impossible to escape. It's swift, it's precise, And it's final. 400 pounds per square inch, delivered in an instant by a bird that may weigh only 10 or 12 pounds itself. The power-to-weight ratio is simply extraordinary. And there's one more detail about the eagle's feet that I'd like to share with you before we close this chapter, because it's a small detail, but it's one of those beautiful little touches that reveals just how perfectly adapted these birds really are. The undersides of an eagle's toes are rough, textured, covered in tiny, raised bumps and ridges, almost like sandpaper. And this rough surface serves a very specific purpose. It helps the eagle grip slippery prey. Think about a fish eagle, a bird that hunts by swooping down to a lake or river and snatching a fish right out of the water. That fish is wet. It's covered in slippery scales and a thin coating of mucus. It's wriggling and thrashing, holding on to it with smooth feet would be nearly impossible. But those rough, textured toe pads, they grip the fish like a pair of non-slip gloves. The tiny ridges dig into the scales, creating friction, creating hold. And combined with those powerful talons and that crushing grip strength, the fish doesn't stand a chance. It's a small adaptation, easily overlooked, but absolutely essential. Those rough, sandpapery toes are the difference between a successful hunt and a lost meal. They allow eagles to maintain a superior grip on slippery aquatic prey, ensuring that what they catch stays caught. Nature once again thinking of everything. And now, you've made it through another beautiful set of facts. 15 more things you know about eagles. 15 more reasons to marvel at the natural world. Let's take a soft, quiet moment to look back over what we've learned together. We learned that a bald eagle's body is covered in nearly 7,000 feathers, and that those feathers are molted one at a time, so the eagle never loses its ability to fly. We discovered that an eagle's bones are hollow and lightweight, reinforced with crisscrossing internal struts, like a bridge designed by nature itself. We learned that eagles can turn their heads up to 210 degrees, and that they have 2 sets of eyelids, including a transparent nictitating membrane that protects their eyes during high-speed dives. We explored the eagle's extraordinary vision, 4 to 8 times sharper than our own, with the martial eagle leading the way, able to spot prey from nearly 4 miles away, thanks in part to those large pupils that minimize light diffraction and maximize visual clarity. We smiled at the image of eagles wearing feathery trousers on their legs, keeping warm in cold climates. We examined the sharp, hooked beak, built for tearing flesh and capable of regrowing when damaged, and admired the golden eagle's chunky black beak with its yellow base. And finally, we marveled at the eagle's talons, delivering up to 400 pounds per square inch of crushing force, aided by those rough, textured toe pads that grip slippery fish with effortless precision. What remarkable creatures they are, and what a remarkable thing you're doing right now. Just resting, just being still. Let all of these images, the feathers, the bones, the eyes, the talons. Let them fade gently into the background of your mind, like a painting slowly dimming in the evening light. You don't need to hold on to any of it. Just let it go and let yourself drift a little further, a little deeper towards sleep. You're still here with me, and I'm glad. Whether you're fully awake or floating somewhere in that soft, hazy space between waking and sleeping, it doesn't matter at all. You don't need to be anywhere in particular. You don't need to be doing anything. Just breathe and listen and let yourself be carried along by these words, the way a leaf is carried along by a gentle stream. In our last chapter, we explored the body of the eagle, its feathers, its bones, its eyes, its beak, its talons, all the remarkable physical tools that make the eagle what it is. And now, in this chapter, we're going to take those tools and put them to use. We're going to talk about flight, because if there's one thing an eagle is truly born to do, it's fly. So let your body settle a little deeper. Let your breath slow just a little more, and let's take to the skies. Let's begin with something truly breathtaking. When an eagle spots its prey from high above, it can enter a dive, a steep, plunging descent that reaches speeds of up to 200 miles per hour. 200 miles per hour. Let that number settle in your mind for a moment. 200. That's faster than most cars will ever travel. Faster than many trains. It's the speed of a small aircraft. And yet, here is a living creature, a bird made of feathers and hollow bones and muscle, hurtling through the air at that speed, under perfect control. When an eagle dives, and the technical term for this is a stoop, it tucks its wings tight against its body, becoming as streamlined as possible, reducing air resistance to almost nothing. And then gravity does the rest. The eagle drops like a stone wrapped in silk, accelerating, the ground rushing up to meet it, and at the very last moment, those powerful wings snap open, those talons swing forward, and the strike is delivered with devastating precision. 200 miles per hour. It's one of the fastest movements in the entire animal kingdom. And it happens in near-perfect silence. No roar of an engine, no screech of tires, just the soft rush of wind over feathers. And then, stillness. And while eagles can dive at those astonishing speeds, they can also climb to remarkable heights. During migration, those long seasonal journeys that many eagle species undertake, eagles have been recorded flying at altitudes of over 10,000 feet. 10,000 feet. That's more than 3,000 meters above the ground. At that height, the air is thin and cold. The landscape below becomes a patchwork of tiny fields and forests and rivers, like a living map spread out beneath the clouds. And the eagle is up there, riding invisible currents of warm, rising air called thermals. It barely needs to flap its wings at all, simply soars, circling slowly upward on one thermal, then gliding across to the next, gaining altitude, covering vast distances, with an efficiency that would make any engineer envious. Some eagles migrate thousands of miles this way, crossing mountain ranges and deserts and seas, all from an altitude where the world below looks small and quiet and peaceful. And you, right here, right now, you're at peace too. You're not 10,000 feet in the air, but you are floating in your own way, floating on the warmth of your bed or your pillow or whatever soft surface is holding you right now. You don't need to go anywhere. You don't need to climb or dive or soar. Just be still. Just be here. You're doing something wonderful simply by resting, and that matters more than you might think. Now, not all eagles fly the same way, and this is where things become really interesting. You see, the shape of an eagle's wings tells you a great deal about where it lives and how it hunts. Different environments demand different kinds of flight, and over millions of years, different species of eagles have evolved wings that are perfectly suited to their particular world. Let's start with the eagles of the open country. The Aquila eagles, and that's the genus name, the scientific grouping, for a family that includes the golden eagle and several other species. These eagles live in wide, open landscapes, grasslands, steppes, rolling hills, mountain plateaus, places where the sky is enormous and the land stretches out in every direction, unbroken by trees. And in these open habitats, the Aquila eagles have developed long, broad wings that are beautifully optimized for sustained soaring. Long wings that catch every available current of rising air. Broad wings that generate enormous lift with minimal effort. These eagles can stay aloft for hours, riding thermal after thermal, scanning the ground below with those extraordinary eyes, barely flapping at all. It's flight as meditation, effortless, patient, unhurried. The open country rewards this kind of flying. There are no obstacles to dodge, no branches to weave through, just open sky and the long, slow search for prey. And those long, elegant wings are the perfect tool for the TIS. But step into a dense tropical forest, and everything changes. The eagles that live in forests, birds like the harpy eagle of Central and South America, face a completely different challenge. In a forest, the air is crowded. Trees are everywhere. Branches crisscross at every level. Thick vines hang like curtains. The canopy overhead is dense and tangled. And an eagle with long, broad wings would be hopelessly clumsy in such a place. It would snag its wings on branches. It would struggle to turn. It would be like trying to fly a glider through a maze. So forest eagles have evolved a different solution. Their wings are shorter, more compact, stubbier you might say, and this shorter wingspan gives them something that their open country cousins don't have: maneuverability. Quick, agile, darting maneuverability. A harpy eagle can twist and turn through a dense tangle of branches, accelerating rapidly, changing direction in an instant, threading its way through gaps in the canopy that seem impossibly narrow for a bird of its size. Those short, rounded wings, combined with a long, broad tail that acts as a rudder, allow forest eagles to perform rapid maneuvers that would be impossible with longer wings. It's a completely different style of flight. Where the Aquila eagle is a glider, the harpy eagle is a fighter jet. Each one brilliant, each one perfectly matched to its whirl. Isn't it wonderful how nature finds a different answer for every different question? Long wings for open skies, short wings for dense forests. No single solution, no single right way, just endless, quiet creativity. And you, lying here in the dark, you don't need to find any answers right now. You don't need to solve anything. You can just let the questions dissolve, like morning mist burning off in the first light of day. Let your mind be as open and uncomplicated as a wide, clear sky. You're doing so beautifully. Just keep breathing. Just keep letting go. Now, let's meet a specific eagle that is a true master of high-altitude flight. The wedge-tailed eagle. This is Australia's largest bird of prey. A magnificent dark brown eagle with a distinctive diamond-shaped tail, though it's called wedge-tailed because when the tail feathers spread out, they form a long, elegant wedge shape. The wedge-tailed eagle soars to remarkable heights while hunting, up to 5,900 feet above the ground, nearly 6,000 feet. From up there, the Australian bush below must look like a vast golden-brown carpet, dotted with scrub and rock and the occasional thread of a dry riverbed. And from that tremendous height, the wedge-tailed eagle hunts. It searches for other birds, and for small mammals, rabbits, wallabies, lizards, anything that moves across the landscape below. When it spots something, it begins its descent, slowly at first, then faster, folding its wings incrementally, adjusting its angle, until it's dropping like a dark arrow toward the earth. The wedge-tailed eagle is so common in Australia, and so deeply woven into the Australian landscape, that it has become a symbol of the outback itself. A dark silhouette, circling high above the red earth, patient and watchful, as old as the land beneath it. And then there's the black eagle, sometimes called the Indian black eagle or the Asian black eagle. This is a bird of the mountain forests of South and Southeast Asia, and it has a very different style of flight from the eagles we've just discussed. The black eagle has a slender form, long and lean, with an almost languorous quality to its flight. It soars for extended periods over the forest canopy, gliding on broad, dark wings, with a kind of effortless stamina that allows it to stay in the air for remarkably long stretches of time. There's no hurry in the black eagle's flight, no urgency. It drifts over the treetops, slowly, patiently, watching for movement below. And when it does spot something, a bird's nest, a small mammal on a branch, It has a remarkable ability to narrow its wings back toward its body, making itself more compact, more agile. This narrowing of the wings allows the black eagle to drop down into the forest canopy itself, weaving through the upper branches with surprising grace for such a large bird. It's a beautiful combination of two flight styles: the long, sustained soaring of an open-country eagle and the close-quarters agility of a forest eagle. The black eagle has found a way to do both. How still you are right now. How quiet, like a lake on a windless evening. Your surface is smooth and calm. Thoughts may drift across your mind like clouds, and that's perfectly fine. Let them come and let them go. Don't chase them. Don't push them away. Just let them pass. You are the sky behind the clouds, wide and open and endlessly peaceful. You're resting so well. And finally, for this chapter, let's return to an old friend, the golden eagle. We've mentioned the golden eagle before as a national symbol, as a hunter of the open mountains. But we haven't yet talked about one of its most beautiful and distinctive physical features, the golden eagle's wingtips. When a golden eagle spreads its wings, the tips of the primary feathers, those long feathers at the very end of each wing, separate and splay outward, like the fingers of an outstretched hand. Ornithologists call these fingered wingtips, and they're not just beautiful to look at. They serve a crucial aerodynamic purpose. Those separated feather tips reduce turbulence at the ends of the wings, minimizing the swirling vortices of air that would otherwise create drag. It's the same principle that engineers use when they add winglets, those small, upturned tips, to the wings of modern commercial aircraft. The golden eagle figured it out first, millions of years ago. And there's one more thing about the golden eagle that gives this bird its name. The feathers on the back of its head and neck, the nape, are a rich, warm, tawny golden brown color. And when the sunlight catches them at just the right angle, they shimmer, they glow, like burnished gold. It's where the eagle gets its name, and it's one of the most beautiful sights in the natural world. A golden eagle, perched on a rocky outcrop, the sun behind it, its nape feathers lit up like a crown of warm light, regal, radiant, unforgettable. And with that luminous image in your mind, we've come to the end of another chapter. Let's take a gentle moment to look back at what we've learned. We learned that some eagles can dive at speeds of up to 200 miles per hour, and that during migration, they soar at altitudes of over 10,000 feet. We explored how the shape of an eagle's wings is determined by its habitat, with Aquila eagles of the open country developing long, broad wings for sustained, effortless soaring, while forest-dwelling eagles like the harpy evolved shorter, more compact wings for quick, agile maneuvering through dense trees. We met the wedge-tailed eagle of Australia, soaring nearly 6,000 feet above the outback in search of prey. We admired the black eagle's slender form and remarkable stamina, and its clever trick of narrowing its wings to slip down through the forest canopy. and we return to the golden eagle to discover its fingered wingtips that reduce turbulence in flight, and those shimmering golden nape feathers that give this magnificent bird its name. What a journey it's been, through the skies and the wind and the wide blue air, and now you can come back down, gently, slowly, like an eagle settling onto its perch at the end of a long day's flight. Tuck your wings in, let your weight settle, let the world go quiet around you. You've learned beautiful things tonight, and now it's time to rest. You've been here for a while now, and that's a beautiful thing. Maybe you're still listening to every word. Maybe you're catching only pieces, drifting in and out like a boat rocking gently on calm water. Either way, you're exactly where you should be. There's no wrong way to do this. There's only rest and quiet and the steady, unhurried sound of these words carrying you forward. Take a breath, a slow one. Feel your chest rise, and then fall. Feel the air leave your body, warm and soft, and again, in and out. Good. That's all you need to do. That's everything. In our last chapter, we soared through the skies with eagles. We felt the rush of a 200-mile-per-hour dive. We climbed to 10,000 feet on invisible thermals. We compared the long, graceful wings of open-country eagles with the short, agile wings of forest hunters. It was a chapter about movement, about speed, about the vast open air. But now, we're going to come back to Earth. We're going to slow down and get quiet and talk about something deeply personal, something intimate. We're going to talk about home, about family, about the places where eagles are born and raised and taught to fly. So settle in, let yourself get comfortable, and let's begin. Eagles build their nests in high places, on cliff ledges, in the tops of the tallest trees, on rocky outcroppings overlooking wide valleys. And these nests have a special name. They're called eyries. Eyrie. It's a word that comes from the Old French and Latin, and it means quite simply the nest of a bird of prey that builds on a high place. Say it quietly to yourself if you like. Eyrie. There's something almost magical about the word, something that conjures images of wild, windswept heights and a nest perched at the very edge of the sky. And here's what makes an eagle's eyrie truly remarkable. Eagles don't build a new nest every year. Instead, they return to the same nest year after year, and they add to it. Each season, the pair brings new branches, new sticks, new clumps of moss and grass and soft material, and layers it on top of what's already there. The nest grows, slowly, steadily, year by year, layer by layer, like a living history of the eagle family that calls it home. A nest that's been used for 5 years is noticeably larger than one that's been used for 2. And a nest that's been used for 20 years or 30 is something truly extraordinary. It becomes a massive, towering structure, a monument of sticks and branches, built up over decades of patient, annual addition. Each layer, a record of another year, another season of eggs laid, and chicks hatched, and young eagles fledged into the world. The eyrie grows with the family. It holds their history. It is, in the truest sense, their home. And just how large can these nests become? Well, the answer is almost hard to believe. Some eagle nests have been recorded weighing up to 6,000 pounds. 6,000 pounds. That's nearly 3,000 kilograms. That's roughly the weight of a small car. Imagine that for a moment. A nest made of sticks and branches and moss, perched in the top of a tree or on a cliff face, that weighs as much as an automobile. It seems impossible, and yet, when you consider that these nests are added to year after year after year, sometimes for decades, the weight begins to make sense. Each year's contribution may be modest, a few dozen pounds of new material, but over 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, it adds up. The nest becomes enormous. Some of the oldest, largest eagle nests are over 10 feet deep and nearly as wide. Great, sprawling platforms of interwoven wood, softened on the inside with moss and feathers and grass, and sturdy enough to support 2 adult eagles, their growing chicks, and all the prey that gets brought in to feed them. You're so wonderfully still right now, lying there, quiet and warm, like a nestling tucked deep inside an eyrie, surrounded by softness, held by warmth. You don't need to move. You don't need to stir. Just let yourself be cradled by this moment, the way a young eagle is cradled by its nest. Safe, protected, completely at ease. And among all the eagles that build these impressive structures, it's the bald eagle that holds the record in North America. Bald eagles construct the largest nests of any North American bird. The largest bald eagle nest ever recorded was found in St. Petersburg, Florida. It measured 9.5 feet wide and 20 feet deep. 20 feet deep. That's taller than a 2-story building. And it weighed close to 3 tons. This particular nest had been used and added to by generations of bald eagles over many, many years. It was a dynasty's home, a castle of sticks, built branch by branch, by countless pairs of devoted eagle parents. Most bald eagle nests aren't quite that enormous, of course. A typical active bald eagle nest might be 5 or 6 feet across and a few feet deep. But even a typical bald eagle nest is a formidable structure, far larger than the nests of most other birds. When you see one in person, this great dark mass of tangled branches sitting in the crown of a tall pine or cypress tree, it takes your breath away. You realize this is a bird that builds on a grand scale, a bird that thinks in terms of permanence, of legacy, of home. And there's a beautiful reason why these nests grow so large over the years. Eagles mate for life. When 2 eagles form a pair bond, they stay together, year after year, Season after season, they return to the same nest, the same territory, the same familiar stretch of sky and forest and water. Together, and together, they maintain their eyrie. Together, they add new material each spring. Together, they raise their young. It's a partnership that can last for decades, for the entire lifespan of both birds. Of course, if one partner dies, the surviving eagle may eventually find a new mate. But as long as both are alive, they remain faithful. They remain a pair. There's something deeply moving about that, isn't there? In a world that can seem chaotic and uncertain, here is a creature that chooses a partner and stays, that builds a home and returns to it, year after year after year. The same nest, the same mate, the same view of the world from their high perch, a quiet, unwavering commitment played out over the course of a lifetime. And the way that eagles choose their mate in the first place is one of the most spectacular sights in all of nature. Eagle courtship involves extraordinary aerial displays. The two birds take to the sky together, climbing higher and higher, circling and soaring, and then they perform a breathtaking maneuver. They lock talons. High in the air, the two eagles reach out toward each other and clasp their feet together, talon to talon, and then they fall together, spinning, cartwheeling through the sky in a dizzying, spiraling free fall. Their wings half folded, their bodies whirling around each other like the blades of a propeller. Down and down they tumble, hundreds of feet, sometimes thousands, locked together, spinning, and then, at the very last possible moment, just before they reach the ground or the water or the treetops, they release. They let go. Their wings snap open, and they pull up, soaring apart, back into the open air. It's a test of courage, of trust, of commitment. Each bird is saying to the other, I will hold on. I will not let go too soon. I will fall with you, and I will trust that together we will fly again. It's one of the most dramatic and beautiful courtship rituals in the animal kingdom, and it happens in silence, high above the world, with no audience but the clouds. How gently you're breathing right now, how soft and quiet everything has become. You're like the sky at dusk, all the brightness fading, all the noise settling down, everything growing still and dim and peaceful. You're doing so well. Just let yourself keep sinking, deeper, softer, slower. There's nothing to hold on to, nothing to figure out. Just let go. The way the eagles let go of each other's talons, trusting that everything will be all right. Now, let's talk about what happens after the courtship, after the pair bond is formed, after the nest is built and the eggs are laid. Let's talk about the baby eagles, the little ones, the eaglets. When eagle chicks first hatch from their eggs, they are tiny and helpless, and covered in a soft coat of downy white feathers. Pure white, fluffy and delicate, like little clouds with beaks. Their eyes are open, but they can barely hold up their own heads. They are completely dependent on their parents for warmth, for protection, and for food. Those first days of life are spent huddled together in the nest, pressed against their mother's warm body, waiting for their father to return with something to eat. And the parents are utterly devoted. They tear tiny strips of meat from whatever prey has been caught and feed them to the chicks with extraordinary gentleness. This fierce predator, this bird with talons that can crush bone, delicately placing a sliver of fish into the open mouth of a downy white chick no bigger than a tennis ball. It's one of the most tender scenes in nature. But eaglets grow fast. Within just a few weeks, that white down begins to be replaced by juvenile plumage, the first set of real feathers. And in young bald eagles, this juvenile plumage looks quite different from the adults. A juvenile bald eagle doesn't have the iconic white head and dark brown body that we all recognize. Instead, it wears a coat of mottled brown feathers with irregular white blotches scattered across the wings and body. It looks a bit scruffy, to be honest, a bit unkempt, like a teenager who hasn't quite grown into their own appearance yet. And if you didn't know what you were looking at, you might not even recognize it as a bald eagle at all. And here's the thing, that youthful, mottled appearance lasts for quite a long time. A juvenile bald eagle takes 4 to 5 years, 4 to 5 full years, to develop its iconic adult plumage. 4 to 5 years of gradual change. Each year, each molt, the feathers shift a little. The brown becomes darker and more uniform. The white patches begin to consolidate, and slowly, the head lightens, the tail lightens, until finally, somewhere around the age of 4 or 5, the transformation is complete. The head is pure white, the tail is pure white, the body is rich, deep chocolate brown, and the young eagle, at last, looks like the bird we see on emblems and flags in nature documentaries. It's a long journey, a slow becoming, and there's something reassuring about that, isn't there? Even eagles don't become fully themselves overnight. Takes time, takes patience. It takes years of quiet growth and gradual change before they become the magnificent creatures they were always meant to be. You're growing too, even right now, even in this stillness. Rest is not emptiness. It's not nothing. It's the quiet space where growth happens, where healing happens, where the body and mind renew themselves in ways too subtle to see, but too important to ignore. You are becoming, even as you lie here, and that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Now, young golden eagles have their own distinctive juvenile look. Where juvenile bald eagles are mottled brown and white, juvenile golden eagles tend to be darker overall. Their body plumage is a deep, rich brown, sometimes almost black. but they have striking white patches at the base of the tail and on the undersides of the wings. These white markings are quite conspicuous in flight, and they're one of the easiest ways to tell a young golden eagle from an adult. As the golden eagle matures, these white patches gradually shrink and darken until the adult bird is almost entirely brown, with just those warm, golden feathers on the nape of the neck that give the species its name. It's a different pattern of change from the bald eagle, but the same underlying story. A slow, patient unfolding, a gradual transformation from youth to maturity, from one kind of beauty to another. And when the time comes for those young eagles to leave the nest, the parents have a rather interesting, and some might say tough, approach to encouraging them. Eagles use a tactic that might surprise you. As the eaglets grow larger and stronger, and their wings develop enough to support flight, the parents begin to withhold food. They don't stop feeding the chicks entirely, but they reduce the meals. They space them out. They might perch nearby with a fish or a rabbit, in full view of the hungry youngster, but just out of reach. They're not being cruel. They're being wise. They're creating motivation, because a well-fed eaglet, warm and comfortable in its familiar nest, has very little reason to take that terrifying first leap into the void. But a hungry eaglet, watching its parent eat just a few branches away, that eaglet has a reason. That eaglet might just spread its wings and jump. And that first flight, that fledgling moment, is the most important moment of a young eagle's life. It's the moment everything changes. The moment the nest goes from being the whole world to being just the place you started. And the parents know, instinctively, that sometimes the kindest thing you can do for someone you love is to let them be a little uncomfortable, to let them want something enough to go and get it themselves. What a wise and gentle lesson. And you don't need to leap anywhere tonight. Tonight is not about striving or reaching or jumping into the unknown. Tonight is about staying right where you are. Warm, safe, held. The nest is enough for now. This moment is enough. You are enough, just as you are. Now, let's learn one more fascinating detail about the eagle's body before we close this chapter. Eagles have a specialized structure in their throat called a crop. The crop is a small, expandable pouch like a little storage compartment located at the base of the throat just before the stomach. And its purpose is wonderfully practical. It allows the eagle to eat a large meal all at once and store the excess food for later digestion. You see, in the wild, meals are not guaranteed. An eagle might go hours or even days between successful hunts. So when food is available, the eagle eats as much as it possibly can. And any food that can't be immediately digested goes into the crop, sits there, safely stored, softening and breaking down slowly until the stomach is ready for more. It's like having a built-in lunchbox, a reserve supply pantry tucked right inside the bird's own throat. This means an eagle can catch a large fish or a rabbit, eat its fill, and then fly off to perch somewhere safe and quiet, digesting at its leisure, without having to worry about where the next meal is coming from. It's a small adaptation, but in the unpredictable world of a wild predator, it can make the difference between thriving and going hungry. And now, one final fact for this chapter, and it's one that reveals something interesting about the relationship between male and female eagles. In most eagle species, the female is larger than the male, noticeably larger. A female eagle is typically 25 to 30% bigger than her mate. This difference in size between males and females of the same species is called sexual dimorphism. And in eagles, the female is the larger, heavier, more powerful bird. Now, scientists have several theories about why this might be. One idea is that the larger size of the female helps her during the nesting period. She's the one who spends the most time on the nest, incubating the eggs, brooding the young chicks, keeping them warm and protected. A larger body means more warmth to share, more surface area to cover the eggs, more mass to shield the chicks from wind and rain and cold. And a larger female can also better defend the nest against intruders, while the male is away hunting. Another idea is that the size difference allows the pair to hunt a wider range of prey. The smaller, lighter male is faster and more agile in the air, better suited to catching smaller, quicker animals. The larger female can tackle bigger, more powerful prey. Together, they cover a broader spectrum, ensuring a more reliable food supply for their family. Whatever the reason, this pattern of larger females appears across many eagle species around the world. It's one of those quiet consistencies of nature, a pattern repeated again and again across continents and climates and millions of years of evolution. The female eagle, larger, stronger, fiercer, sitting on her nest at the top of the world, watching over her young, while her smaller, swifter mate brings food home from the hunt. Partnership, a balance, family. And with that gentle image of family and home, we come to the close of another chapter. Let's take a quiet moment to remember what we've learned. We learned that eagles build their nests in high places, and that these nests are called eyries. We discovered that eagles add new material to their nests each year, causing them to grow enormous over time, with some weighing up to 6,000 pounds. We learned that bald eagles build the largest nests of any North American bird. We found out that eagles mate for life, returning to the same nest year after year, and that their courtship involves spectacular aerial displays, including locking talons and cartwheeling through the sky in a breathtaking free fall. We met the eaglets, those tiny, downy white chicks, and watched them grow into awkward juveniles. We learned that juvenile bald eagles wear mottled brown plumage with white blotches, and take 4 to 5 years to develop their iconic white head and tail. and that juvenile golden eagles are darker, with white patches at the tail base and on the underwings. We discovered that eagle parents sometimes withhold food to encourage their young to take that first brave flight from the nest. We explored the crop, that handy storage pouch in the throat that lets eagles eat large meals at once. And finally, we learned that female eagles are typically 25 to 30% larger than males, a trait called sexual dimorphism that enhances both their nesting and hunting roles. What a rich, full chapter that was, full of home and family and the quiet, fierce devotion of parents raising their young. And now, let those images settle softly in your mind. The great nest in the treetop, the two eagles, side by side, year after year, the tiny chick, taking its first trembling bite, the fledgling, spreading its wings for the very first time. Let it all grow soft and warm and dim, like firelight fading in a quiet room. You are safe, you are home, and sleep, whenever it comes, will be the most natural thing in the world. You've been resting here for a while now, and I hope you can feel it, that gentle loosening, that quiet softening, the way your body has settled a little more deeply into wherever you're lying, the way your thoughts have slowed, just a little, like a river that's found a wider, calmer stretch of its course. You're doing wonderfully, and there's still so much to explore, so many quiet, fascinating things to learn. But there's no hurry. There never is. We'll take our time. We always do. Breathe in slowly. Feel your lungs expand. Feel your ribs lift, just slightly. And now, breathe out. Feel everything settle back down. Feel that soft release, that gentle letting go. One more time. In and out. Beautiful. You're ready. In this chapter, we're going to talk about one of the most fascinating aspects of eagle life. How they eat, how they hunt. Because while all eagles are predators, all of them are built for catching and consuming other animals. They don't all do it the same way. Not even close. Different species have developed wildly different strategies, different specialties, different tricks and tactics, depending on where they live and what kind of prey is available to them. Some are powerful brute force hunters. Some are patient ambush artists. Some are clever thieves. And some are surprisingly resourceful scavengers. The world of eagle hunting is rich and varied and full of surprises. So let's step into it together, quietly, and see what we find. Let's begin in the rainforest, deep in the tropical forests of Central and South America, where the air is thick and warm and alive with the sounds of insects and birds and rushing water. There lives one of the most powerful eagles on Earth, the harpy eagle. We've mentioned the harpy eagle before, as an example of a forest-dwelling eagle with short wings built for maneuvering through dense trees. But now, let's talk about what the harpy eagle does with all that power and agility. It hunts sloths and monkeys. Think about that for a moment. Sloths and monkeys. animals that live high in the canopy, clinging to branches, moving through the treetops. These are not small, defenseless creatures. A full-grown sloth can weigh 15 to 20 pounds. A howler monkey can weigh even more, and they're holding on to branches with powerful grips of their own. To pluck one of these animals from a tree, in mid-flight, deep inside a tangled forest, requires extraordinary strength, and the harpy eagle has it. Its talons are enormous. The rear talons, the hallux claws, can be up to 5 inches long. 5 inches. That's about the same length as the claws of a grizzly bear. They are thick, deeply curved, and devastatingly strong. When a harpy eagle strikes a sloth or a monkey, those massive talons close around the animal with a force that is virtually impossible to resist. The prey is lifted from its branch, carried through the forest, and brought back to the nest. It's a display of raw, primal power, executed with surgical precision in one of the most challenging hunting environments on the planet. The harpy eagle doesn't chase its prey across open ground. It doesn't swoop down from a great height over open water. It hunts in 3 dimensions, in a dense, cluttered vertical world of branches and vines and leaves. And it does it with a calm, patient confidence that speaks to millions of years of evolutionary mastery. Now let's travel far from the steamy rainforests to a very different landscape, the coastlines and lockshores of Europe and northern Asia. This is the world of the white-tailed eagle, sometimes called the sea eagle or the ern. This is one of the largest eagles in Europe, with a wingspan that can reach 8 feet or more. And its approach to feeding is considerably more relaxed than the harpy eagles. The white-tailed eagle primarily eats fish. It soars over lakes and rivers and coastal waters, watching for the telltale flash of silver near the surface, and then swoops down to snatch a fish from the water with its powerful talons. But here's the thing about the white-tailed eagle. It's not purely a hunter. It's also, quite happily, a scavenger. White-tailed eagles will readily feed on carrion, dead animals that they find rather than kill themselves. A washed-up fish on a riverbank, a dead seal on a beach, the remains of another predator's meal. The white-tailed eagle is not too proud to take an easy meal when one presents itself. And it also hunts waterfowl, ducks and geese and coots, sometimes chasing them across the water until the exhausted bird can no longer dive or fly away. It's an adaptable, pragmatic hunter, not a specialist, but a generalist, willing to eat whatever the world offers. And in the unpredictable environments of northern coastlines, where food availability changes with the seasons, that flexibility is a tremendous advantage. You're so relaxed right now. Can you feel it? That heaviness in your arms, in your legs, the way your whole body feels like it's being gently pressed down into softness. You don't need to hold yourself up. You don't need to support anything. Just let gravity do its quiet work. Let it pull you down into comfort, into stillness, into that warm, dark, welcoming space where sleep begins. You're doing this so beautifully, so naturally. Just keep letting go. Now, let's talk about teamwork, because some eagles don't hunt alone. The golden eagle, that magnificent bird we've come to know so well throughout this journey, often hunts in pairs, and their cooperative hunting strategy is remarkably clever. Two golden eagles, a mated pair usually, will work together to catch prey that might be difficult for a single eagle to take down. One eagle flies low over the terrain, swooping close to the ground, deliberately flushing the prey out of its hiding place. A rabbit bolts from beneath a bush. A hare breaks from its cover among the rocks. A ptarmigan launches itself desperately into the air, and the panicked animal, running or flying for its life, heads straight toward what it thinks is safety. But the second eagle is already there, waiting, positioned on the other side, perched on a rock or circling overhead, ready to intercept. The prey, flushed by the first eagle, runs directly into the path of the second. It's a pincer movement, a coordinated ambush, two minds working as one, anticipating each other's movements, reading the terrain, predicting where the prey will go. It speaks to a level of intelligence and communication between the pair that goes far beyond simple instinct. These are animals that plan, that strategize, that cooperate, and together, they are far more effective than either would be alone. And speaking of ambush, there's another eagle that takes the concept of surprise attack to an entirely different level. The crowned eagle of sub-Saharan Africa. This powerful forest eagle is sometimes called the leopard of the sky, and for good reason. The crowned eagle is an ambush predator. It doesn't soar over open ground looking for prey the way a golden eagle does. Instead, it sits, it waits, perched silently in the canopy of a tall tree, motionless, watching the forest floor below with those extraordinary eagle eyes. Can sit like this for hours, patient, still, invisible among the leaves and shadows. And then, when an unsuspecting animal passes below, a small antelope, a monkey, a large rodent, the crowned eagle drops. It falls from its perch like a stone, wings half folded, plunging straight down through the layers of branches and leaves, and strikes with devastating force. The prey often never sees it coming, never hears it. One moment, the forest is quiet and peaceful. The next, the crowned eagle has its talons buried in its prey and is already carrying it back up into the trees. It's a hunting style that requires immense patience, absolute stillness, and split-second timing. The crowned eagle doesn't waste energy chasing prey. It doesn't expend effort soaring for hours. It simply waits, and when the moment comes, it acts with explosive, irresistible power. There's something almost zen about it, the art of doing nothing until the perfect moment to do everything. How still you are right now, just like the crowned eagle on its perch. Motionless, quiet, patient. But unlike the eagle, you're not waiting for anything. You're not watching for anything. You're simply being. And that stillness, that quietness, is its own kind of perfection. You don't need to do anything with it. Just feel it. Just inhabit it. Let it wrap around you like a warm blanket. You are so peaceful right now. So wonderfully, deeply peaceful. Now, let's visit a group of eagles with a very particular specialty. The snake eagles. These fascinating birds, found primarily in Africa, Southern Europe, and across Asia, have evolved to do something that most animals would consider extremely dangerous. They hunt snakes, venomous snakes, cobras, mambas, vipers, the kinds of snakes that other predators go out of their way to avoid. But snake eagles seek them out. They soar over scrubland and grassland and rocky hillsides, watching for the telltale movement of a serpent in the grass. And when they spot one, they dive down and grab it, often behind the head to prevent a bite, and then either swallow it whole or carry it back to a perch to tear it apart. But what protects the snake eagle from the venom? Well, snake eagles have several remarkable adaptations for this dangerous lifestyle. Their legs are covered in thick, tough scales, much thicker than those of other eagles, which provide a natural armor against snake bites. Even if a snake does manage to strike, those thick scales often prevent the fangs from penetrating to the flesh beneath. And scientists believe that snake eagles may also possess certain enzymes in their blood that provide a degree of resistance to venom. Not complete immunity, but enough to survive a bite that might kill another bird. It's a fascinating evolutionary arms race. The snakes develop more potent venom. The eagles develop better resistance. Back and forth, generation after generation, each one pushing the other to become more specialized, more refined, more extraordinary. And the snake eagle sits calmly at the center of it all, eating its dangerous meal, seemingly unbothered by the fact that its dinner could kill most other creatures on Earth. Let's move now to a scene that you might find surprising and perhaps a little amusing. Picture a bald eagle, that grand, majestic symbol of the United States, swimming. Yes, swimming. Bald eagles can swim. If a bald eagle dives for a fish and misjudges the strike, or if the fish is simply too heavy to lift out of the water, the eagle may end up in the water itself, submerged, wings wet, unable to take off. And in that situation, rather than let go of its prize, the bald eagle will sometimes choose to swim to shore. It does this by spreading its great wings flat on the surface of the water and rowing, pulling itself forward with powerful, sweeping strokes of its wings, like a feathered butterfly swimmer, dragging the fish along beneath it. It's not graceful. It's not dignified. The eagle looks rather bedraggled and determined, head held high above the water, wings slapping the surface with each stroke. making slow but steady progress toward the bank. But it works. The eagle reaches the shore, hauls itself out, shakes the water from its feathers, and eats its fish. It's a reminder that even the most magnificent creatures sometimes find themselves in ungainly situations, and the measure of their character is not that they never struggle, but that they keep going when they do. You're still here, still breathing, still resting. And that's its own kind of perseverance, isn't it? The quiet perseverance of allowing yourself to be still, of resisting the urge to check your phone, or shift your position, or think about tomorrow. You're just here, present, resting, and that takes more strength than people realize. You're doing something genuinely good for yourself right now, something important, and you should feel proud of that in a gentle, quiet sort of way. Now, let's travel to the coastlines of Australia and South Asia, where we'll meet another fish-hunting eagle with a particularly interesting habit, the white-bellied sea eagle. This beautiful bird, with its striking white head and chest and slate-gray wings, is a common sight along the beaches and estuaries of the Indo-Pacific region. It hunts primarily by flying over the water, spotting fish near the surface, and swooping down to snatch them up with its talons. A clean, efficient, elegant hunting technique. But the white-bellied sea eagle has another trick. It steals. Specifically, it steals from ospreys. Ospreys are another fish-hunting bird, not an eagle but a raptor in their own right, and they're extremely good at what they do. An osprey will hover over the water, spot a fish, and plunge in feet first to catch it. It's a spectacular hunter, but sometimes, just as the osprey is flying away with its hard-won catch, a white-bellied sea eagle will appear, and the eagle, being larger and more powerful than the osprey, will harass it, chase it, dive at it, intimidate it, until the osprey, exhausted and outmatched, drops the fish, and the eagle swoops in to claim the stolen meal. Scientists call this behavior kleptoparasitism, a wonderful word that literally means parasitism by theft. The white-bellied sea eagle is an opportunistic raider, and it conducts these thieving missions regularly. Not out of laziness exactly, but out of efficiency. Why spend the energy catching your own fish when someone else has already done the hard work for you? It's a strategy that many eagle species employ to varying degrees. And while it might seem unfair to the osprey, it's simply another facet of the complex, competitive world of wild predators. Every advantage counts, every calorie matters, and the white-bellied sea eagle has found a way to tip the scales in its favor. How softly you're breathing now, how gently your chest rises and falls, like the slow, quiet rhythm of waves lapping at a peaceful shore. You're drifting, aren't you? Just a little, just enough to feel that warm, fuzzy boundary between waking and sleeping start to blur. That's good. That's exactly right. Don't fight it. Don't resist it. Just let the drift carry you wherever it wants to take you. You're safe. You're held. Everything is exactly as it should be. Now, here's a fact that speaks to the sheer physical power of eagles. One eagle, the species isn't always consistently identified in the records, but the feat itself is well documented, was recorded carrying a load of 15 pounds in flight. 15 pounds. Now remember, most eagles themselves weigh somewhere between 8 and 15 pounds depending on the species. So this bird was carrying a load that was equal to, or even greater than, its own body weight. Imagine picking up something that weighs as much as you do, and then running with it. Now imagine doing that while flying. It's an almost incomprehensible feat of strength. The eagle's powerful flight muscles, the pectorals, which make up a huge proportion of its body mass, generate enough force to keep those broad wings beating, even under a load that would ground almost any other bird. This is one of the heaviest recorded lifts for any bird of prey relative to its size. And while eagles don't routinely carry loads this heavy, most of their prey is considerably lighter. It speaks to the extraordinary reserves of power that these birds possess. Power that is usually hidden, tucked away, deployed only when truly needed. The eagle carries its strength quietly, modestly, and only in moments of extreme effort do we get a glimpse of just how much strength that really is. Let's shift gears now and meet an eagle with a somewhat less glamorous dining habit. The tawny eagle, found across Africa and into parts of southern Asia. The tawny eagle is a medium-sized eagle with warm brown plumage and a sturdy, adaptable build. And the tawny eagle is, well, not particularly fussy about what it eats. It is both a hunter and a scavenger. It will catch live prey when it can, small mammals, birds, lizards, insects, but it will also happily eat carrion, dead animals found on the ground. And in the modern world, the tawny eagle has developed a particularly contemporary habit. It scavenges roadkill along the highways and roads that cut through the African bush. Tawny eagles are a common sight, perched on the ground beside the carcass of an animal struck by a vehicle, or waiting on a nearby fence post or power line, watching for the next opportunity. They've even been known to rummage through trash, through refused dumps and garbage sites near human settlements. It's not the most romantic image of an eagle, perhaps. It lacks the drama of a harpy eagle snatching a monkey from a tree, or a golden eagle diving at 200 miles per hour. But there's something admirable about the tawny eagle's pragmatism. It's a survivor. It doesn't wait for the perfect meal. It takes what's available. It adapts. It makes the best of whatever the world puts in front of it. And in an environment where food can be scarce and competition fierce, that willingness to be flexible, to be humble, to take the easy meal alongside the hard one, is exactly what keeps the tawny eagle thriving. You're thriving too, right here in this quiet moment. You may not feel like you're doing anything remarkable. but you are. You're giving your body and mind the rest they need. You're letting go of the day. You're allowing yourself to simply exist, without striving, without pushing, without demanding anything of yourself. And that is a gift, a quiet, gentle gift that you're giving to yourself. You deserve it. You truly do. And now, one last hunting behavior before we close this chapter. And it belongs to our friend the black eagle, that slender, graceful soarer of the Asian mountain forests. The black eagle has a hunting strategy that is both efficient and a little bit ruthless. It raids the nests of other birds, while soaring effortlessly over the forest canopy, gliding on those long, dark wings with that characteristic unhurried ease. The black eagle watches for the nests of other bird species, crows, starlings, mynas, smaller raptors, any bird that has built a nest and laid eggs. And when it spots one, the black eagle descends. It drops down to the nest and takes the eggs. Sometimes it takes the chicks as well if they've already hatched. It carries them off in its talons, or sometimes in that remarkable way the black eagle has, cradling the stolen eggs against its body with its unusually large, flat feet. Now, this might seem harsh, stealing another bird's eggs, raiding a nest that some smaller bird worked so hard to build. But in the economy of the natural world, there is no morality. There is only survival. And eggs are an extraordinarily nutritious food source. They're rich in protein and fat and minerals. They're easy to find if you know where to look. And they can't run away. For the black eagle, soaring patiently above the treetops, scanning the canopy for the telltale signs of a nest, the flash of a sitting bird, a pile of sticks in a fork of branches, the sound of begging chicks. This is a reliable, energy-efficient way to feed itself and its own young. The black eagle doesn't always raid nests, of course. It hunts other prey as well, lizards, small mammals, even bats. But nest raiding is a significant part of its diet. And it's a behavior that this eagle has refined into a quiet art. Effortless soaring, patient observation, a sudden, decisive descent, and then back up into the sky with breakfast secured. All without breaking a sweat. All without wasting a single unnecessary calorie. And with that image of the black eagle gliding back up into the warm air above the forest, egg clutched gently in its talons, we come to the end of another chapter. Let's settle back and softly review what we've learned. We learned that harpy eagles hunt sloths and monkeys deep in the rainforest, using talons as large as bear claws to pluck their prey from the treetops. We discovered that white-tailed eagles eat fish but are also happy scavengers, feeding on carrion and hunting waterfowl. We watched golden eagles hunt in pairs, one flushing prey toward the other in a coordinated pincer movement. We met the crowned eagle, the ambush predator that drops from the canopy onto unsuspecting animals below. We explored the world of snake eagles, who hunt venomous serpents with the protection of thick scales and venom-resistant enzymes. We were charmed, and perhaps a little amused, by the image of a bald eagle swimming to shore with its wings, too stubborn to let go of a heavy fish. We met the white-bellied sea eagle, an opportunistic thief that steals fish from ospreys in daring mid-air raids. We marveled at the eagle recorded carrying a 15-pound load, a weight equal to its own body. We admired the tawny eagle's pragmatic approach to dining, scavenging roadkill and trash alongside hunting live prey. And finally, we watched the black eagle soar effortlessly above the forest canopy, raiding the nests of other birds for their precious eggs. What a rich and varied world of hunting strategies we've explored, from the brute force of the harpy to the patient stillness of the crowned eagle, to the clever thievery of the white-bellied sea eagle, to the humble pragmatism of the tawny eagle. Each one different, each one perfectly suited to its own life, its own world, its own way of being, and all of them, in their own way, beautiful. Now let those images fade. Let the forests and coastlines and open skies grow dim in your mind. Let the eagles settle onto their perches, tuck their heads beneath their wings, and rest. Just as you're resting now. The hunt is over. The day is done. And all that's left is the quiet and the dark and the slow, steady rhythm of your breathing. You've been here for quite some time now, and your body knows it. You can feel it in the heaviness of your limbs, in the softness of your breathing, in the way your thoughts have become quieter, slower, like footsteps in deep snow. You're doing so well. Just keep resting. Just keep breathing. We have only a few more things to discover in this little chapter. And they're beautiful things, quiet things, things about journeys, and the places eagles call home. Breathe in, slowly, and breathe out. Let everything soften just a little more. We've talked about how eagles hunt, how they build their nests, how they raise their young, but we haven't yet talked about something truly awe-inspiring, the distances that some eagles travel. Because certain species of eagles are migrants. They don't stay in one place all year round. Instead, when the seasons change, they set out on journeys of almost incomprehensible length. Take the steppe eagle. This is a large, brown, broad-winged eagle that breeds on the vast, open grasslands, the steppes of Central Asia and Eastern Europe. During the warm months, these eagles raise their families on the wide, windswept plains. But when autumn comes, and the days grow shorter, and the prey becomes scarce, the steppe eagle begins to move. It flies south, across mountain ranges, across deserts, across the entire width of the Arabian Peninsula. And it doesn't stop until it reaches the warm savannas of eastern and southern Africa. Over 6,000 miles. 6,000 miles each way. 12,000 miles in a single year, just in migration alone. Think about that distance for a moment. 6,000 miles is roughly the distance from New York to London, or from Tokyo to Sydney. And this bird, this living, breathing creature weighing perhaps 5 or 6 pounds, covers that distance on its own wings, twice a year, every year, riding thermals during the day, resting when it can, following ancient, invisible pathways through the sky that its ancestors have flown for thousands of generations. It's a journey that would exhaust most humans just to think about, and the steppe eagle does it as naturally, as inevitably, as the turning of the seasons themselves. And then there's the Wahlberg's eagle, a smaller, elegant eagle found across sub-Saharan Africa, named after the Swedish naturalist Johann August Wahlberg. Wahlberg's eagles are migrants too, though their journeys take them across the African continent rather than between continents. And they are known for two remarkable things. First, their courtship displays. Like the cartwheeling bald eagles we discussed earlier, Wahlberg's eagles perform stunning aerial displays during the breeding season. The pair soars together, climbing high into the African sky, and then tumbles and dives and swoops in elaborate, acrobatic patterns. It's a celebration of partnership, of vitality, of the sheer joy of flight, a dance performed on the wind, high above the plains. And second, Wahlberg's eagles are impressively fast travelers. Scientists who tracked one group of migrating Wahlberg's eagles recorded them covering 5,500 miles in just 9 months. 5,500 miles. That's a staggering amount of ground to cover. And it gives us a sense of just how much of their lives these birds spend in motion, moving across the landscape, following the rains, following the food, always journeying, always traveling, and yet never seeming rushed, never seeming frantic, just steadily, patiently, making their way from one place to the next, the way you might turn the pages of a long, quiet book. No hurry, just one page after another, 1 mile after another, one wing beat after another. You are so still right now, so beautifully, perfectly still, like a lake in the early morning, before the wind has touched it, before a single ripple has crossed its surface. Your body is quiet, your mind is quiet, and in that quietness, there is something vast and deep and peaceful. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to travel 6,000 miles. You don't have to cross any mountains or deserts or seas. You're already exactly where you need to be, right here, right now, in this perfect, peaceful stillness. And while some eagles are great travelers, others are great homebuddies. The golden eagle, our familiar friend, is one of the most territorial eagles in the world. A mated pair of golden eagles will establish a territory and defend it, and that territory can be enormous, up to 77 square miles. 77 square miles of mountain and valley and ridgeline and sky. all belonging to a single pair of eagles. That's an area roughly the size of a small city. And within that vast domain, the golden eagles know every cliff face, every updraft, every sheltered valley where prey is likely to be found. They know where the thermals rise on warm afternoons. They know where the rabbits burrow. They know where the snow melts first in spring. It's their world, intimately known, fiercely defended. And it's within this territory that the golden eagle builds its nest. Not in a tree, though some golden eagles do use trees, but more often on a cliff, a rocky ledge, high on a sheer rock face, overlooking the territory below. These cliff nests are virtually inaccessible to predators. No fox or bear or raccoon can climb a vertical cliff face to reach them. And from the nest, the eagles have a commanding view of their entire domain. Miles and miles of landscape spread out below them like a living map. They can see approaching threats. They can spot potential prey. They can watch the weather moving in across the mountains. It's a fortress, a watchtower, a home with the most spectacular view imaginable. And year after year, the pair returns to it, adds new sticks and grass and moss, raises another generation of chicks, watches another cycle of seasons unfold across their 77 square miles of wilderness. Home, in the truest, deepest, most enduring sense of the word. And with that quiet image of the golden eagle, perched on its cliff, surveying its vast and familiar world, we come to the end of this brief chapter. Let's take a moment to gently recall what we've learned. We learned that some eagles are extraordinary migrants, with steppe eagles traveling over 6,000 miles each year between Europe and Africa. We met the Wahlberg's eagle, with its stunning mid-air courtship displays and its remarkable tracked migration of 5,500 miles in 9 months. And we returned to the golden eagle, to discover that a single pair may hold a territory of up to 77 square miles, building their nest on a cliff ledge high above their domain, returning to it year after year, season after season. Journeys and homecomings, vast distances and familiar places. The eagle knows both. And tonight, you are home. You are settled. You are safe in your own small territory of warmth and softness. And there is nowhere else you need to be. Let that thought carry you, gently, quietly, like a thermal carrying an eagle higher and higher into a wide, blue, endless sky. You've been here for a long time now, and I want you to know that's something to feel good about. You've given yourself this time, this space, this permission to simply lie still and breathe and listen. So many people never do that. So many people carry the weight of the day right into the night and never set it down. But you've set it down. You're here, and that matters. Take a slow breath in. Let it fill you gently, like water filling a cup. And now release it. Let it pour out of you, slow and warm, and again, in filling expanding, and out, releasing, softening. There. That's all. That's everything you need to do. The rest will take care of itself. In this chapter, we're going to do something a little different. We've spent our journey so far learning about eagles in broad strokes. Their bodies, their flight, their families, their hunting. And we've met several species along the way. But now, we're going to slow down even further and take a long, leisurely walk through a kind of gallery. A gallery of eagles, species by species, bird by bird, each one unique, each one beautiful in its own way. We're going to meet eagles from Australia and Russia and Africa and New Guinea and many places in between. Some of them you may have heard of. Others will be entirely new. But all of them, every single one, is worth knowing about. So let your mind open, like a window on a warm evening, and let these birds come to you, one by one, gently, quietly, in their own time. Let's begin in Australia. We've mentioned the wedge-tailed eagle before, that dark, magnificent bird that soars nearly 6,000 feet above the outback while hunting. But let's spend a little more time with it now, because the wedge-tailed eagle deserves our attention. The wedge-tailed eagle is Australia's largest bird of prey, the largest in a continent full of remarkable wildlife, kangaroos and koalas and crocodiles and all manner of extraordinary creatures. This eagle sits at the very top of the avian food chain. It is the undisputed ruler of the Australian skies, and it earns that title through both size and power. A large female wedge-tailed eagle can have a wingspan of over 7 feet and can weigh close to 12 pounds. That's a substantial bird, a formidable bird. And when it spreads those great dark wings and catches a thermal rising from the sun-baked earth, it becomes one of the most impressive sights the Australian bush has to offer. But the feature that gives this eagle its name is its tail. Most eagles have fan-shaped tails, tails that spread out in a broad, rounded arc when the feathers are extended. The wedge-tailed eagle is different. Its tail feathers are graduated in length, with the central feathers being the longest, so that when the tail is spread, it forms a distinctive diamond or wedge shape, a long, elegant, pointed wedge, trailing behind the bird like the train of a gown. This unique tail shape is visible even from a great distance, making the wedge-tailed eagle one of the easiest Australian raptors to identify in flight. You see that dark silhouette circling overhead, with that long pointed tail stretching out behind it, and you know immediately what you're looking at. Australia's king of the sky, soaring on thermals above the red earth and the eucalyptus forests, patient and watchful, ancient and enduring. The wedge-tailed eagle has been a part of the Australian landscape for millions of years. It was here long before humans arrived. And if we're careful, if we're thoughtful, it will be here long after we're gone. Now let's travel a very long way from the warm, dry plains of Australia to the cold, wild, storm-lashed coastlines of eastern Russia, to the Kamchatka Peninsula. This is one of the most remote and dramatic landscapes on Earth. A land of active volcanoes, of steaming geysers, of rivers choked with spawning salmon, and of deep, brutal winters where the sea itself freezes solid. And this is the kingdom of the Steller sea eagle. We met the Steller sea eagle earlier in our journey, the heaviest eagle in the world, weighing up to 20 pounds. But there's so much more to say about this extraordinary bird. Its wingspan can reach over 2 meters, that's nearly 7 feet, making it one of the largest wingspans of any eagle alive today. When a Steller sea eagle spreads its wings against the gray sky of a Kamchatka winter, it's a sight that stops you in your tracks. Those enormous dark wings, with their bold white shoulder patches, that massive, vivid orange-yellow beak, the sheer, commanding presence of the bird. It looks like something from another age, something prehistoric, something that belongs to a wilder, older world. And the Steller sea eagle sounds as dramatic as it looks. Its call is a deep, barking cry, not the high, keening scream that many people associate with eagles. No, this is something altogether different. A deep, resonant, almost guttural bark, like a large dog calling across a frozen river, carries a long way through the cold air, echoing off cliffs and across ice-covered water. It's unmistakable. No other raptor sounds quite like it. When you hear that deep, barking call, you know a Steller sea eagle is nearby. And there's one more fascinating detail about this species. Most Steller sea eagles have the familiar pattern: dark body, white shoulders, white tail, orange beak. But occasionally, rarely, a Steller sea eagle appears in what scientists call a dark morph, color variant. These rare individuals are almost entirely dark brown or nearly black across their entire body, with only the tail remaining white. Everything else, the shoulders, the wing patches, the lighter markings, all replaced by deep, uniform darkness. These dark morph birds are strikingly beautiful in their own severe way, like a shadow given wings. They're uncommon enough that spotting one is considered a special event among birdwatchers and ornithologists. A dark ghost haunting the frozen rivers of Kamchatka. You're doing so beautifully right now, just lying there, still and quiet, letting these images wash over you. The red earth of Australia, the frozen rivers of Russia. You don't need to travel to any of these places. They're coming to you, drifting into your mind like snowflakes falling on calm water, touching down and dissolving, each one leaving just the faintest trace before it melts away. You don't need to hold on to them. Just let them come and let them go. You're exactly where you need to be. Now, let's talk about something rather fun. Eagle voices, because every eagle species has its own unique call, and some of those calls have become unexpectedly famous. The African fish eagle, a striking bird with a white head chestnut belly, and black wings, found near lakes and rivers across sub-Saharan Africa, has one of the most iconic calls in the bird world. It throws its head back, opens its beak wide, and lets out a loud, ringing, almost yelping cry that carries across the water. It's a wild, thrilling sound, the very voice of Africa, some people say. And here's the fun part. That call, the cry of the African fish eagle, has been used countless times in movies and television shows as a generic eagle sound. Hollywood, in particular, is fond of dubbing the African fish eagle's call over shots of other eagle species, or even over shots of hawks and falcons, to add drama and atmosphere. So if you've ever watched a movie and heard the dramatic cry of an eagle echoing across a mountain landscape or a desert canyon, there's a good chance the sound you were hearing was actually the voice of an African fish eagle, recorded somewhere near a lake in Kenya or Tanzania, and placed by a sound editor over footage of a completely different bird on a completely different continent. It's a small, amusing bit of movie magic, and it means that the African fish eagle's voice is probably one of the most widely heard bird calls in the entire world, even though most of the people hearing it have no idea what bird is actually making the sound. And while we're meeting individual species, let's return briefly to the tawny eagle. We talked earlier about the tawny eagle's pragmatic approach to feeding, its willingness to scavenge roadkill and even rummage through trash alongside hunting live prey. But we didn't talk about what the tawny eagle looks like, and it has a rather distinctive appearance. The tawny eagle is, to put it kindly, a bit scruffy. Its plumage is a warm, tawny brown, sometimes lighter, sometimes darker, varying considerably between individuals, and it often looks somewhat disheveled, ruffled, a little unkempt, like a bird that's been out in a windstorm and hasn't quite gotten around to preening. But in flight, the tawny eagle reveals a striking aquiline silhouette, that classic eagle shape, broad wings, a relatively short tail, a strong, hooked profile against the sky. Seen from below, soaring on a thermal above the African savanna, the tawny eagle transforms from its somewhat untidy perched appearance into a clean, powerful, elegant shape, the very picture of an eagle in flight. It's a reminder that beauty takes many forms, and sometimes the most beautiful version of a thing is seen only when it's doing what it was born to do. How quiet everything has become, how peaceful. Your breathing is so slow now, so gentle, like the barely perceptible rise and fall of a sleeping animal's side. You're so close to sleep. Maybe you're already there, drifting in and out, catching words like fireflies, bright for a moment, then fading. That's perfectly fine. That's wonderful, actually. You don't need to listen to every word. Just let the sound carry you. The meaning doesn't matter as much as the feeling, and the feeling is peace. Now let's meet an eagle you may never have heard of, the crowned solitary eagle, sometimes called the Chaco eagle, after the Gran Chaco region of South America where it lives. This is a rare and rather mysterious bird found in the dry forests and grasslands of Argentina, Paraguay, Bolivia, and Brazil, and it has two features that make it particularly memorable. The first is its crest. The crowned solitary eagle gets the crowned part of its name from a dark gray crest of feathers on the top of its head. It's not a tall, showy crest like the Philippine eagle's wild mane, but rather a subtle, dignified cap of raised feathers that gives the bird a serious, almost regal bearing, like a judge wearing a dark cap in a courtroom, or a general wearing a beret. It's understated, but distinctive, and it's one of the features that makes this eagle recognizable in the field. The second remarkable feature is its voice. The crowned solitary eagle emits a shrill, piercing call that can be heard from over a mile away. Over a mile. In the open, quiet landscapes of the Chaco, where sound carries easily across flat terrain. This call serves as a powerful territorial announcement. The eagle doesn't need to be seen. It just needs to be heard. And from over a mile away, any rival eagle, any potential intruder, can hear that shrill cry and know that this territory is claimed. This land is occupied. Move on. This communication at a distance, a voice that reaches far beyond the range of sight. The crowned solitary eagle doesn't need to chase intruders away. It doesn't need to fight. Simply calls. And its message is received, loud and clear, across the wide, dry landscape of the Chaco. Now let's meet another specialist, the western banded snake eagle. This small, compact eagle is found in the open woodlands and forest edges of West and Central Africa, and as its name suggests, it's a snake hunter. But unlike the snake eagles we discussed earlier, the ones that soar over open ground, scanning for serpents, the western banded snake eagle takes a different approach. It's a perch hunter. It sits quietly on a branch, in a tree at the edge of an open area, and watches. It watches the ground below with patient, focused attention. And when a snake slithers into view, moving through the leaf litter or across a patch of open ground, the eagle drops from its perch and strikes. The western banded snake eagle prefers open woodlands. It avoids dense forests, preferring instead those areas where the trees are spaced apart, where sunlight reaches the ground, where there's room to see and room to maneuver. And despite being a snake eagle, it's a solitary bird. It hunts alone, perches alone. It lives a quiet, self-contained existence among the scattered trees of the African woodland. Not a large eagle, only about 24 inches long, with a wingspan of about 3.7 feet, but perfectly proportioned for its lifestyle. Compact, alert, patient, a specialist in the art of sitting still and waiting for the right moment to act. You are so wonderfully patient yourself right now, lying there, hour after hour, letting rest wash over you like warm water. your patience with yourself, your gentleness with yourself is something truly admirable. Most people don't give themselves enough time to simply be. But you have, you are, and that's a rare and precious thing. Now let's meet a close relative of the western banded snake eagle, the black-chested snake eagle. This handsome bird, with its dark chest, pale belly, and bright yellow eyes, is found across the savannas and grasslands of sub-Saharan Africa. And like its western cousin, it hunts snakes. But the black-chested snake eagle is bolder in its choice of prey. It regularly targets venomous snakes, including species up to 32 inches long. 32 inches. That's nearly 3 feet of coiling, striking, potentially lethal serpent. And the black-chested snake eagle handles them with calm, practiced efficiency, swooping down from a soaring position or a perch, grabbing the snake behind the head, and either swallowing it whole or carrying it to a safe spot to consume. And here's something unexpected about this bird. Despite being a solitary hunter, spending its days alone, soaring over the grasslands, or perching quietly on isolated trees, the black-chested snake eagle is actually quite social when it comes to sleeping. At night, these eagles gather in communal roosts. Groups of them, sometimes large groups, roosts of up to 200 individuals have been recorded. 200 black-chested snake eagles, all perched in the same cluster of trees, settling down together for the night. It's a remarkable contrast. Solitary by day, communal by night, as if the eagle recognizes that while hunting is a solitary business, sleep is safer in numbers. There's protection in a crowd, more eyes to spot an approaching predator, more alarm calls to wake the group if danger arrives. So every evening, these independent, self-reliant hunters put aside their solitary ways and come together. They roost side by side. They share the darkness. And in the morning, they scatter again, each one returning to its own patch of sky, its own hunting ground, its own quiet, solitary day, until the evening comes once more, and they find each other again. Now let's visit the wetlands, because there's an eagle that calls the marshes and swamps and flooded grasslands of the world its home. The greater spotted eagle. This is a medium-sized, dark brown eagle, sometimes simply called the spotted eagle, and it has a strong preference for wetter habitats than most other members of the booted eagle family. While its relatives soar over dry mountains and open plains, the greater spotted eagle gravitates toward wetlands, marshes, river floodplains, the edges of lakes and ponds where the ground is soft and damp and alive with frogs and water birds and small mammals. And the greater spotted eagle hunts in a way that suits these environments perfectly. It glides, silently, from a hidden perch, a low branch overhanging a marsh, or a post at the edge of a flooded field. The eagle launches itself and glides low over the water and reeds, barely making a sound. This approach is so quiet, so smooth, that prey often doesn't notice until it's too late. A frog sitting on a lily pad, a small bird resting among the reeds, a rodent moving through the wet grass. The greater spotted eagle appears out of nowhere, a dark shape sliding silently across the marsh, and strikes before the prey can react. It's ambush hunting adapted for wetland terrain. No dramatic high-altitude dives, no thunderous stoops from thousands of feet, just a silent glide, a quick strike, and it's over. The wetland returns to its quiet rustling, and the eagle flies back to its hidden perch to wait and watch and glide again. Let yourself be like that still water right now. Let yourself be like the quiet marsh at dawn, before the wind stirs, before the day begins. Perfectly calm, perfectly still, reflecting nothing but the soft, gray light of approaching sleep. You're so close now, so close to that gentle, dark, welcoming place where thoughts dissolve and the body rests and everything is peace. Just keep drifting, keep floating. You're doing everything right. Now, staying in the spotted eagle family for a moment, let's meet a close relative, the Indian spotted eagle. Found across the Indian subcontinent and parts of Southeast Asia. This eagle is slightly smaller and lighter in coloring than its greater spotted cousin. It has a distinctive broad head, giving it a somewhat wide-faced, almost owlish appearance. And it has the widest mouth, the widest gape of any of the spotted eagles. That broad gape is useful for consuming prey efficiently, allowing the bird to swallow larger items with less effort. But beyond its physical features, the Indian spotted eagle is known for something rather charming. It is reportedly one of the more approachable eagles, less shy around humans than many of its relatives. In areas where it has grown accustomed to human presence, it can sometimes be observed at relatively close range, perching calmly on a branch or a post, watching the world go by with what seems like quiet curiosity rather than alarm. It's a gentler eagle, perhaps, a more tolerant one, a bird that has learned, in its own way, to coexist with the noisy, bustling species that shares so much of its habitat. Let's move now to the treetops of the African savanna, where we'll find the African hawk eagle. This is a medium-sized, boldly patterned eagle with dark upper parts, a white breast streaked with black, and fierce yellow eyes. And the African hawk eagle is a patient bird. It spends most of its day concealed, hidden, tucked away among the dense foliage of tall trees, sitting quietly in the shade, barely visible to anyone passing below. It's there, of course, watching, always watching. But it doesn't advertise its presence. It waits, for hours sometimes, conserving energy, staying cool in the shade. And then, when the moment is right, when a francolin or a guinea fowl or a small mammal presents itself, the African hawk eagle bursts from its cover, fast and direct, and makes its strike. And the nest of the African hawk eagle is impressive in its own right. Built of sticks, woven together into a sturdy platform, these nests can measure up to 3.3 feet across. That's about a meter wide. They're constructed in the forks of tall trees, often well hidden among the branches, and like most eagle nests, they're added to and maintained year after year. A solid, well-built home, tucked away in the canopy, where the eagle returns each evening after its patient day of watching and waiting. You're so patient yourself, so beautifully patient with this process, with the slow unwinding of your day, with the gentle release of tension from your body. Patience is a kind of strength, quiet, powerful kind. And you have it in abundance right now. Just lying here, just breathing, just being. Now let's travel somewhere truly remote, to the island of New Guinea, the second largest island in the world. A place of towering mountains, dense rainforests, and extraordinary biodiversity found nowhere else on Earth. And in the forests of New Guinea, there lives an eagle found nowhere else in the world, the Papuan eagle, sometimes called the New Guinea harpy eagle. This bird is one of the island's most impressive endemic species. And the Papuan eagle looks a little unusual. It has proportions that set it apart from most other eagles. Its head is unusually prominent, large and broad, giving the bird a somewhat top-heavy appearance. And its legs are elongated, longer, relative to its body size, than those of many other eagle species. These unusual proportions, the prominent head, the long legs, give the Papuan eagle a distinctive silhouette that is quite unlike any other raptor. Scientists believe these proportions may be adaptations to its particular hunting style and habitat. The long legs may help it reach into tree cavities or dense foliage to extract prey. The large head may accommodate powerful jaw muscles and a broader skull to process the specific types of prey available in the New Guinea forests. Whatever the reason, the Papuan eagle stands out. It's an eagle that doesn't look quite like any other eagle. A unique bird on a unique island, shaped by millions of years of isolation and evolution into something entirely its own. And that's the beauty of islands, isn't it? And of isolation more generally. When a species is separated from its relatives, given time, given space, given a world all its own, it becomes something new. Something unrepeatable, something that exists in one place and one place only. The Papuan eagle is a reminder that the natural world is still full of wonders, still full of species that most people have never heard of, still full of birds and animals and plants that are quietly going about their lives in remote corners of the planet, asking nothing of us, needing nothing from us, except to be left in peace. Now, from the remote forests of New Guinea, let's return to Africa, to the dense, shadowy understory of the African rainforest, where a small, agile eagle hunts in the dim light beneath the canopy. The Ayres's hawk eagle, named after the South African ornithologist Thomas Ayres, This is a compact, powerful forest eagle, and it possesses something that is essential for life in the dark, cluttered understory of a tropical rainforest. Superior eyesight. Even by eagle standards, the Ayers' hawk eagle has remarkably sharp vision, adapted specifically for the low-light conditions beneath the forest canopy, where sunlight filters down through layer upon layer of leaves and branches, creating a world of dappled shadows and dim green light. The Ayers' hawk eagle can see clearly. It can spot the subtle movement of a chameleon on a branch, the slow crawl of a snake along a vine, the brief hop of a toad on the forest floor. And its hunting method is beautifully simple. Perches, it watches, and then it drops straight down from its perch through the layers of vegetation to snatch its prey from a branch or the ground below. Snakes, chameleons, toads, small birds, all captured in this sudden, decisive plunge from a hidden perch. It's another variation on the ambush theme we've seen again and again throughout our journey. The patient wait, the careful observation, and then the swift, irreversible strike. In the dim, quiet world of the rainforest understory, the Ayers' hawk eagle is a shadow that hunts other shadows. Silent, precise, unseen until the very last moment. How gently the night is holding you right now. How softly this darkness wraps around you, like the canopy of a forest, filtering out the noise of the world, leaving only quiet, only calm, only the most essential, peaceful things. Your body is so heavy now, so warm, so still. You might be sleeping already, and if you are, that's wonderful. If you're not, that's wonderful too. There is no wrong place to be. There is only here, and here is enough. And now, let's meet one more eagle, a small one, a charming one, an eagle that has taken the art of patience and refined it into a complete way of life. The long-crested eagle. The long-crested eagle is found across sub-Saharan Africa, in woodlands and forest edges, and even in agricultural areas near human settlements. It's a smallish eagle, dark brown, almost black, with a distinctive feature that gives it its name. A long, thin crest of feathers, rising from the top of its head and trailing backward like a narrow plume. It's not a broad, shaggy crest like the Philippine eagles. It's more like a single, elegant feather antenna, bobbing gently in the breeze. It gives the bird a somewhat comical appearance, like a professor who's forgotten to take off a party hat. But don't let the appearance fool you. The long-crested eagle is a supremely efficient predator. And its method is simplicity itself. It sits on a perch, a dead tree, a power line, a fence post, overlooking an area of open grass or low vegetation, and it watches. It watches for rodents, rats, mice, flea rats, shrews, small, scurrying mammals that move through the grass below. The long-crested eagle hunts almost exclusively from its perch. It rarely soars. It rarely chases. It doesn't plunge from great heights or weave through dense forests. It simply sits and waits. Scientists call this strategy sit-and-wait hunting, and the long-crested eagle has elevated it to an art form. It can sit on the same perch for hours, perfectly still, perfectly patient, watching, and when a rodent appears, a small dark shape moving through the grass, the eagle drops from its perch, glides a short distance, and snatches the rodent in its talons. Quick, clean, efficient, and then it returns to its perch and waits again. There's something deeply calming about the long-crested eagle's lifestyle, isn't there? No drama, no spectacular dives from 10,000 feet, no elaborate cooperative hunts, no daring robberies of other birds, just sitting, watching, waiting, and when the time is right, acting, and then sitting again. It's the most meditative hunting style of any eagle, the most peaceful, the most restful. Like the long-crested eagle, you don't need to be doing anything dramatic right now. You don't need to be soaring or diving or hunting. You just need to be still, to be patient, to let the world come to you rather than chasing after it. And in that stillness, everything you need will find its way to you, including sleep. And as we bring this long, gentle chapter to a close, let's return one last time to something we learned earlier in our journey. Something about the eagle's eye. We talked about those large pupils, those wide, dark openings that let so much light into the eagle's eye. And we learned that those large pupils minimize something called light diffraction, the bending and scattering of light as it passes through a small opening. By having large pupils, the eagle's eye lets light in with minimal distortion, producing an image of extraordinary sharpness and clarity. It's the reason eagles can spot prey from miles away, the reason they can see details that are completely invisible to our eyes. And as we sit here, at the end of this long exploration of eagle species from around the world, it feels right to return to this fundamental fact. Because everything we've talked about tonight, the hunting, the soaring, the diving, the waiting, all of it depends on the eagle's ability to see clearly, to see sharply, to see the world as it truly is, in all its beauty and detail. Those large pupils, that extraordinary vision, it's the foundation upon which everything else is built. The eagle sees, and because it sees, it lives. And now, you don't need to see anything at all. Your eyes are closed. The world outside is dark. And behind your eyelids, there is nothing but the soft, formless warmth of approaching sleep. You've seen enough today. You've taken in enough. Now it's time to let the images fade, to let the details dissolve, to let everything grow soft and quiet and still. Let's take a gentle moment to look back over the many eagles we've met in this chapter. We returned to the wedge-tailed eagle, Australia's largest bird of prey, with its distinctive wedge-shaped tail trailing behind it like a dark pennant. We traveled to the frozen rivers of Kamchatka to spend more time with the stellar sea eagle, learning about its deep, barking cry and those rare, beautiful dark morphs that appear almost entirely black. We discovered that the African fish eagle's iconic call has been borrowed by Hollywood, used as a dramatic sound effect in countless movies and television shows. We looked again at the tawny eagle, with its scruffy plumage and striking aquiline silhouette in flight. We met the crowned solitary eagle of South America, with its dark gray head crest and shrill territorial call audible from over a mile away. We learned about the western banded snake eagle, a solitary, compact bird of the African open woodlands, just 24 inches long, patiently ambushing snakes from its perch. We met the black-chested snake eagle, bold enough to tackle venomous snakes nearly 3 feet long, and social enough to gather in communal roosts of up to 200 birds at night. We glided silently through the wetlands with the greater spotted eagle, watching it ambush prey from hidden perches with barely a sound. We noticed the Indian spotted eagle's broad head and wide mouth, and its unusually tolerant disposition toward humans. We hid among the foliage with the African hawk eagle, patient and concealed for hours, building stick nests up to 3.3 feet wide. We traveled to New Guinea to admire the Papuan eagle, with its uniquely prominent head and elongated legs, found nowhere else on Earth. We dropped through the dim rainforest understory with the Ayres's hawk eagle hunting snakes, chameleons, and toads with superior low-light vision. And we sat quietly on a perch with the long-crested eagle, that patient, meditative hunter, watching for rodents with calm, unhurried attention, its thin crest bobbing gently in the breeze. And finally, we returned to the eagle's extraordinary eyes, those large pupils that let in light with minimal diffraction, giving eagles the sharpest vision in the animal kingdom. What a gallery of birds that was! What a collection of shapes and sounds and strategies and stories. Each eagle different, each one adapted to its own corner of the world, each one beautiful. And now, you can let them all settle down for the night. Imagine them, one by one, finding their perches, tucking their heads beneath their wings, closing those extraordinary eyes, growing still, growing quiet, just like you. The world is full of eagles, and the eagles are at rest. And so, are you.